Hey guys, it's Joe Troyer from Digital Triggers and welcome back. Today I want to talk to you guys about setting up Incapsula. So before we actually get into the nitty gritty and I walk you guys through how to set up Incapsula for your private blog network, I want to talk to you guys about why Incapsula. Hopefully by now you have seen the other tutorial video that I did on Cloudflare. And obviously you should know then that there's a shortage of quality cheap hosting providers for PBNs. And Incapsula is an alternative to Cloudflare. All right, we absolutely love Cloudflare at Digital Triggers, but we want to spread out our network, right? We want to reduce our footprint. So no more than 25% of our network goes on Cloudflare. So we use Incapsula as well to spread out our network and to randomize what we're using in terms of our name servers, our A records, our IP addresses, our hosts, etc. So why Incapsula? So Incapsula, just like Cloudflare, has a reverse proxy feature. So it completely masks your guys' hosting IP address and instead shows an Incapsula IP address. So let's jump right in. I'll walk you guys through step by step how to actually set this up. Then we'll come back to the presentation here and I'll run through some of the most frequently asked questions that have come up when I've talked to other entrepreneurs about setting up a private blog network. So let's get right into it. All right, so let's get into actually getting Incapsula set up. I'm going to do a search for Incapsula in Google, go to the pricing and sign up page, and go all the way to the end to start now for the free account, right? I'm just going to go ahead and put in some credentials here, Joe Troyer, and then email. I'll do Incapsula at web1syndication.com. I'm going to go ahead and put in a password here, agree to the terms of service, and let's create our account. So if you guys watch me do the Cloudflare setup, adding a website and then the DNS information that goes on then takes a really, really long time. What I want you guys to watch is how fast Incapsula is. So I'm going to put in the domain here and get rid of all the other junk, HTTP and the trailing slash. Watch this. Watch. Yeah, super, super fast DNS scanning from Incapsula. So here are the instructions here. It's a little different than Cloudflare, so you're going to want to pay attention. We have to actually update the A records, okay? And then you'll see me do the rest of it as well. So I'm going to go in and go to DNS zone file, and you'll see that there isn't one. So if you don't see it, you have to reset the name servers to standard, all right? And so these are going to put in GoDaddy's name servers, and then it's going to take a little bit to load, but you're going to want to go back to DNS zone file until something loads, all right? So it's going to take a second here. I'm not going to fast forward this video and just show you what it looks like. I want you guys to see how long it's actually taking me or taking GoDaddy to actually update the DNS zone file. If you're not using GoDaddy, all that you need to do is do a quick search on how to edit the DNS zone file for your host, or I'm sure you could probably outsource it for $5 or something, and get somebody to help you set it up and figure out how to do it on your specific host. But it's pretty similar on all the hosts. So still not loaded yet. It's been about 30 seconds or so. Let me refresh here in a second. All right. All right, let's refresh this page. DNS zone file. That's been set, right? The name server's changed. All right, awesome. The zone file is all set up. So you're going to see our A host, our CNAME, mail exchange stuff. Mail exchange stuff, guys, you don't need unless you're using mail. So I personally just delete those out. But for the sake of this tutorial and keeping it short, we won't do that. So we're going to update the A record here. So add record right above the A host there, right? And then we're going to do A host again. And then we're going to copy and paste the information in, right? The host, so the host is the domain or subdomain, which would be zeldaagency.net. Then we want to put in the IP address. I'm not going to mess with the TTL. If you don't know what that is, don't even worry about it. I'm going to click add another. And we're going to copy and paste the other stuff in. Obviously, Zelda Agency, Zelda Legacy, stays the same. And we just end up changing the IP address to 131 on that C octet, right? And we're going to just go ahead and click add another. And then last, what we need to do is update the CNAME, right? So we're going to hit this drop down and find CNAME. All right, great, we got it. We're going to put in the host again, and then we're going to put in the CNAME, right? So put in the host, and then put in the CNAME here, incapdns.net something, right? And click finish. And I got an error here that says that these aren't saved. All of them were, 2 of them were successful, but 1 had an issue. Let's look at this. All right, there's already a CNAME in there, so we just need to go and update that CNAME, right? So we're going to scroll down to the CNAME, and we're just going to go ahead and edit that. www and points to, we're going to go ahead and update this. I'm going to click Save Changes, and here you can see everything has been updated. So now inside of Incapsula, I need to go and check on my IP. So I'm going to click on the domain here. You're going to see all the traffic, applications, countries, and I'm going to go up in the top right and click Settings. And here I need to put in my server's IP address. And guys, this should be right out of the gate because we already scanned our DNS information, right? Incapsula did at the very beginning after we put in our domain. So that's it. Let's jump over to the FAQs. All right. So now that we've ran through the Incapsula tutorial, I've showed you guys how to actually set up Incapsula for your private blog network. What I want to do now is just run through some frequently asked questions, some best practices that we need to make sure that we hit in order for you guys to maximize Incapsula on your private blog network. So one of the biggest questions that I always get is, do I need to create a new account for every PBN? And unlike Cloudflare, you do not. All right. So with Cloudflare, you need to set up for every domain that you add of a PBN. On Cloudflare, you need to set up a brand new account. All right. With Incapsula, you do not. All right. They provide unique DNS records for each site, so there's no account level footprint. All right, so you can have literally one login, and every single time you add a site, it's going to completely randomize the DNS records for you. So definite big time saver there. Also, accounting, keeping up with things, it makes it a lot more simpler on Incapsula than Cloudflare. So next up, should I use Incapsula for all my sites or many of them? And the answer, unfortunately, is no. All right, I personally will be using Incapsula as an alternative, again, to Cloudflare. Since it's not as popular, I'm not going to use it on as many sites. All right, so right now I use Cloudflare on 25% or so of my sites, right? About a quarter of them. And I personally am not going to be using Incapsula for more than 10% of my sites, all right? It is this alternative. It'll help dynamically, or help randomize where your sites are, help dilute your footprint, if you will. Right, but you're not going to be able to use it on that many sites. If you're using a 10-site PBN, let's say pod, I would recommend then only using it on one of those 10 domains. Obviously, 2 or 3 then you can use with Cloudflare, and then the rest you're going to want to randomize across the top shared hosts. So I hope you guys thought this was helpful, and be on the lookout for more videos from Digital Triggers.